Mute, unmute. Hello, good evening and welcome to another Wednesday evening here in my Cotswolds kitchen. My name is Lou. I am your dessert obsessed baker here at Crumbs and Corkscrews. And welcome if you're joining on the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, or even tonight, we are streaming live on Instagram. I really hope this is working. Or if you're catching up on replay, thank you so much for being here. It really is. I'm so grateful for when you guys join the live stream. If you are new to Kitchen Live, or if you're joining on Instagram, it's the first time we've done this. What is it? Well, every Wednesday evening, I live stream from my kitchen here a deliciously easy recipe. I bake it, you sit down and enjoy it. It doesn't matter if you are absolutely new to the kitchen or if you're out there with a Hollywood handshake and a star baker every week. I pretty much guarantee, well, I hope to guarantee that you guys will find something that you enjoy. So this is what happens on a Wednesday evening. You guys sit, grab yourself a coffee, a cup of tea, a slice of cake. If you're having your dinner, I hope you're having something nice. I'll have mine later. And we just have a moment or two whilst those notifications ping off in internet land. And then we'll be getting into the bake in about 20 seconds a time. I'm really excited this evening. This evening's recipe is a Puff Pastry Snowflake. The guys out there on Facebook and YouTube have voted for this. And hopefully, if all this goes well with Instagram and this works, you guys will be able to have a vote as well next week. It's really exciting. I'm going to run through the recipe, run through the ingredients, and then I'll get in and get baking. So let's get started. Now, I'm just going to ping over some bits and pieces. There we go. So just so you guys know out there on Instagram, on Facebook and YouTube, we have around me some graphics that have a list of the recipe and the ingredients. Because I can't do that with the Instagram feed, because of the way the format it is, I'm not going to talk to them. I'm going to talk to you guys. And if I do point, it's that, but I'm going to pop all the information in the description when we've finished the session this evening. So what are we making? We are making a Puff Pastry Snowflake. I can't wait for this. It's really, really easy. This is going to serve about 6 to 8 people. You might be able to push it a little bit more. It's a tear and share, but it depends how much you want to tear and how much you want to share with everybody else. But it's about 6 to 8 people. It is a super, super easy recipe. And the filling I'm going to go for this evening is a fruity mincemeat. So it's Christmas in every bite. And you've got that rich, buttery pastry, flaky puff pastry there. Pros-wise, it is effortless elegance. It looks great. It's an absolute last minute, quick and easy showstopper that you can put together, bung in the oven and get out and put in the middle of the table if you've got guests around that you weren't expecting. Cons, we always go for a little bit of a con here. There isn't any. The only con about this is you could totally overindulge in it because you've got that pastry, you've got that filling, you've got the Christmas. It's so good. So maybe you can have 2 or 3 helpings, but it's up to you. That's the only con I could think of. Ingredients wise, then, let me just flip this for the guys out there. We are going to be using store-bought pastry. Now, it's in the fridge. Let me just grab it out. Puff pastry. It's not worth the time and effort making it. If store-bought puff pastry is good enough for Jamie Oliver, it's good enough for me. Now, I did think about doing a rough puff for you this evening, but I thought, do you know what? We're going to stick with this because what you can also get now, which is great because I have quite a few gluten-free guys in the family, is you can get a gluten-free version. This is just roll puff pastry sheets, and it, I've been told, attests to being absolutely delicious as well. I might use that for something else later, depends if we've got any time, but we are going to be using, this is Picard's puff pastry. This is quite rich and buttery, but you can just roll do it, and most of the stores do their own. Tesco's, Aldi, Lidl, all do it, and it's really nice and cheap, and it tastes fabulous as well. So you haven't got to roll it, fold it, chill it, and go through all that sort of stuff. So we're going to be using store-bought puff pastry. You're also going to need just a few little ingredients to bring this all together. You're going to need 1 egg, and that egg is going to give us an egg wash. We're going to get that really nice golden color on the top. So that's just 1 egg is all you need. We're going to have a little bit of sprinkling of caster sugar as well, just to get a nice crispy top. This is a vanilla caster sugar that I made, just caster sugar with some vanilla pods left in there. But you can just use a regular white caster sugar. And then we're also going to need a little bit of icing sugar for dusting over on the top. The most important part about this snowflake, excuse me, I've got hiccups, is the fillings. Now, we're going for a fruity, sweet filling this evening because we're all about desserts. But you can make this savoury as well if you've got more of a savoury tooth. As we put it together shortly, I'll sort of talk through some of the different options that I've been thinking about. And I did almost do a cheese one this evening, but there's not enough in the fridge because we've been eating it. It's naughty. Anyway, fruit filling wise for your sweet snowflake, I'm going with a classic mincemeat. Now, I typically make my own mincemeat, and I have got some in the fridge, but I make it quite chunky, so it's got big chunks of apple in there as well as lots of fruit. For this, I want to get a nice uniform sort of layer, and it's not too thick and chunky because I'm going to be twisting things around. So I'm just going to use a classic mincemeat from the store. This is Marks and Spencer's, but again, Aldi, Lidl, Tesco, Sainsbury's, everybody has their own, right from like a basic version all the way up to full of brandy and all sorts of things. But this is just a classic mincemeat, and I think this was probably about 80p on Marks and Spencer's. So there's that. You can also use maybe a Nutella spread or a chocolate spread. Now, if you are new here, I don't do nuts because I have a slight allergy, so I steer away from Nutella. But by all means, you can use Nutella in this as well. You could use a regular chocolate spread. Cadbury's do one. A lot of the supermarkets do versions as well. I've seen for Christmas a chocolate orange one out there. I mean, how amazing would that be? Really Christmassy, the chocolate, the orange, the pastry. But you could also sort of use just a chocolate and then grate some orange zest on top as well. So you get a different sort of chocolate orange flavor. So you can go that route. You could also use the Biscoff. Everybody's, well, it is in our house. This is everybody's favorite. And I am super surprised that we have a large jar and there is not a lot out of this. So you can use Biscoff. And then also, if you don't want to use any of those, you can just go in with a jam. I went to get the raspberry and the strawberry out, but it seems that Ian's eaten most of that, so we're not going there. But you could, this is a rhubarb one, which I was thinking might be really nice. The tart sweetness of the rhubarb with the richness of the puff pastry might be lovely. So you can use a jam instead. Equipment wise, you're not really going to need a lot at all. You're going to need some baking sheets and some baking parchment. Let me bring it across. And sharp object to cut. Either a sharp knife or a pizza cutter would work really well. A pastry brush for your egg wash. And a spoon for your mincemeat, and to level it all out however you want to do it. So equipment wise, like I say, we're doing delicious and we're doing easy. We've got easy ingredients and we've got easy equipment. So that's our equipment and our ingredients. And then, like I say, Instagram, this is what happens next, is we get in and we get baking it. It's really exciting. I'm so excited you guys are here this evening. I'm just going to transition some stuff over. If at any point throughout this you want to drop any questions, in the comments, or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, just let me know. And I will try and answer if I can see things as we go along. So hi, Rachel. Oh, fab. I hope you're looking forward to this. I know you voted for this. And yes, thank you to everybody on all the different places that asked about my ear. I am feeling better. It's still a bit bunged up, but yeah, fingers crossed it's not too bad. We've got no pain, but I know quite a few people had a bit of a problem with it as well. Right then, this is a really easy one this evening. I feel a bit of a fraud. We're going to start with our pastry. So if you've bought store-bought pastry, the easiest way for this is to buy the ready rolled stuff as well. You can buy it in a block and then you can roll it out. But we're going for easy and we're going for quick. So we're using pre-rolled puff pastry. Now, if you've been keeping it in the freezer, make sure that you get it out and you defrost it first. This has been defrosting in the fridge today, but if you haven't got time, just get it out for about 30 to 40 minutes at room temperature and it will defrost out ready enough for you to use it. Like I said, this is Picard, this is French, it's really rich and buttery. It's a lovely pastry. So with our puff pastry, then you're going to need 2 sheets. So if you've got 2 packs, or you could make a smaller version, just cut a sheet in half. But you're going to need 2 sheets of puff pastry, and you're going to need a baking sheet as well for this to go on. Line your baking sheet first. We're going to work straight onto the baking sheet, straight into where we want to get everything into the oven. We're going for less mess today. So I'm going to line my baking sheet with some baking parchment. Now, some ready rolled pastry, puff pastries like this one, do have the parchment already in it, so you don't even need to do that bit. But I'm going to for this. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion that this is already. I need some scissors. I have a sneaking suspicion that this is already cut in a round circle for me as well. I know the just roll is in a rectangle or a square. We'll get this open and have a look. See how it is. Oh yeah, this is already in a round circle. Let's just actually just unroll that there. Now, if your puff pastry is in a rectangle or a square and isn't already in a lovely round circle, the size that you want here is about a dinner plate size. I'm going to get one of our dinner plates out and have a look. This is about 9 inches or so. This is just slightly bigger, but this is the easiest way of getting the right size for your snowflake. So if you've got a rectangle or a square piece of puff pastry, just plop your dinner plate down and cut round the edge with a sharp knife. Take away the excess. Keep it because you can make other things out of that. So it wants to be about the size of a dinner plate. And I didn't need that because it unrolled better like that. Let's get rid of some rubbish. So we've got our unrolled then. And the next thing we want to do now, if you're do this first and then cut the other one out, because if you lay this on top of that and try and cut round, you run a risk of the pieces of the puff pastry already sticking together, and we don't want that. So do this bit and then cut that one separately. So I'm going in with mincemeat, like I said. So this is our, can't open it. Nearly thought I was going to have to go with the Biscoff. This is our store-bought mincemeat. It's not heavy and chunky, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut our snowflake arms, and we're going to twist them. So if we've got really chunky fruit in there, when we twist, it will just fall out the side. So I do recommend your classic mincemeat from the shop for this. So it smells of Christmas. Yay! So just pop a couple of spoonfuls on. Now, we don't want to go too heavy either. We want to get a nice layer of this out. So push it down. And you want to take it to leave a little bit of a gap at the edge. So maybe a couple of centimetres, 2 centimetres or so. You don't want any more than that, otherwise you'll end up with just pure pastry edges to your snowflake. So I'm going to take this, so it's about 2 centimetres. What's that? Maybe an inch at the most. There. And I'm pushing out. I'm not making it a thick layer here. You could do this with a palette knife. If you're doing something like Biscoff or a jam, it might be easier with a palette knife than a spoon. Be careful with this. Don't push on it. Don't sort of tug at it, because you'll tear the pastry, and that's not what we want to do here. It does smell absolutely of Christmas. Now, fillings wise, whilst we talk about this, if you want to do this savoury and get a really good cheese ball, something like a mozzarella tomato style, think pizza. You could put a tomato base, you could use chopped tomatoes or a pizza sauce or something like that, and then you could put mozzarella, grated mozzarella on top, maybe some finely chopped pepperoni or something like that. But tomato, the mozzarella, maybe a sprinkle of herbs, and that would be really, really lovely. Sort of, and you get that really lovely gooey cheese pull as well, which would be fantastic. You could also go, what else was I thinking about? Brie, cranberry. You're not going to get the pull, the cheese pull on that, but you get that lovely melty brie with the fruity cranberry there, or caramelized onion and maybe some goat cheese. Oh, I'm really, really hungry now. And if you are anyway inclined to be blue cheese, really, really unctuous with that puff pastry. So, as we know, I've gone with a classic mincemeat. You guys on Instagram have just realised you might not see that because people are popping up. But this is how we look. So we've taken it. We've got a rough approximated sort of 2 centimetres all the way around the outside. We've not made it too small, and we've not gone too close to the edge. If we go too close to the edge, when we wrap it up, the filling will just fall out the edges. And if we have too small a circle of filling, we're going to end up with doughy ends to our snowflakes. So just move that out of the way. Next thing is our second piece of parchment of puff pastry. Now, if you are, like I say, if you have to cut this out with your dinner plate, do this separately before you put it on here. Don't put it on and then try and cut it. Do the cutting separately to your snowflake that you've already got layered out. This one is already circled. So, oops, sorry, Instagram guys. I've just popped off the side that it really smells of Christmas. It's amazing. I'm so hungry. You just know this isn't going to get left once it's finished baking. So I have now my puff pastry, and the beauty of these as well is if you've got it on the paper, you can hold it quite nice and easy, a bit like we're doing when we do tarts and things, and just line it up and fold it over there. There we go. And then you can just peel that back. Now I'm just going to, with my fingers, seal in those. That's why we've left that gap a little bit. We're just sealing that up there. Doesn't have to be neat or anything, just crimp it together. And again, that just helps your filling not escape. So I'm just we're gonna cut this so it don't worry about it. There we go. Great one to do with the kids as well, because you can get them to do this bit, the twisting bit that we're going to do in a minute, the putting the filling on, and stuff like that. So I think I'm conscious that I'm now about to slice this up, and I might go through the baking parchment that I've got. So I've just put another tray to the side with that parchment that I had earlier, but that's fine. So our snowflake, then, what we want to do is cut this into we cut it into quarters, and then we cut those quarters into 4 sections, but we don't want to cut right in the center, because if we cut right in the center as we twist, there's nothing for those twists to hang on to, and it will all just fall apart and become very messy in your oven. And you don't want that, because it's a nightmare to clean. So what you do is you get a small bowl or a cup or a mug, and we're going to place that in the center. Now, this one is quite big. In fact, it's probably too big. When I put that there and I look at it, I'm not going to get enough length on my twists, because I want to twist them about 3 times. And if they're short, I'm not going to get those twists in. So this is too big. This one, a dipping bowl, is probably about right. I'd say it is the size of a jam jar lid. So that's something else you could use. I'm going to place that right in the center. I think that's the center. And I'm just going to leave that. I'm not pushing down on it. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just going to use it as a guide for where I'm going to cut from or to. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can do it with a pizza cutter. This is really easy. Again, if you've got the kids, this is a great way for them to get involved and do it. Or you can use a sharp knife. Now, I'm hoping this is sharp, but still, because I sharpened it the other day. So we'll try with the knife first, and I might change over to the pizza wheel. But we're going to start and cut this in a logical way. If we cut this and just go, right, we'll start here and we'll start cutting, you're going to end up with sort of sections that probably aren't equal, and you'll get a lopsided snowflake, and that's not what we want. So we're going to start with a cut at 12, then at 6, 3 and 4 to start with. And I'm going to start up here. So go all the way through. So we start there. That's our first cut. Make sure you go all the way through. And I'm just going to go round like this. This is the bit. This is the concentration bit. And Rachel asked about my hair. It's just pop. It's really strange. Like, I go outside and the pressure in my ear clears, and then I come back in the house and the pressure's back again. And oh, I saw the doctor. Apparently, it's nothing to worry about. I've not gone deaf yet. It's just a bit muffled, which has its advantages. So we've made our 4, 12, 6, 3 and 9 o'clock. Now within each of these segments now, then I'm going to cut these into 4. So I'm going to make 3 more cuts, and hopefully they're about equal size. So again, from the center of your where your bowl is, hold on, 1, 2. That one went a bit wrong. I went a bit over the top on that one. So we're going to have an odd size snowflake on one side. It's fine. We want these into 4 pieces. So we make 3 cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Make sure you finish off the ends. We'll do this one a bit better on this side now. I'm just thinking, actually, you could go straight down the middle of that section. That makes it into 2. And then nicens down the center of each of those sections. There we go. Maths was never my strong point, or anything like this. So that's our 4. That's the better way of doing it. There we go. So straight down the middle of your quarter section. Then down the middle of those 2 halves. I can really smell the mincemeat. It's amazing. I'm so happy. So last quarter, straight down the middle of that. You see I'm rocking with my knife rather than dragging it. If I cut and drag it, I'm likely to tear the pastry and pull all the mincemeat filling out, or whatever filling I've got. So rock it. And the same again. There we go. So this is our snowflake all cut through then. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 pieces and twist them. Where am I going to start? Let's start on this side. Just make sure I've got them all separated off at the... So very, very gently lift up your snowflake arm. That one's not. Keep your knife handy. Oop. And then just twist in 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now, don't lift it. I did a naughty there. I lifted it up. But because if you lift it up, you'll start pulling the pastry as well. So I'm going to take this second one here, just gently support it, and 1, 2, 3. Now, those 2 ends I'm going to pin together. Just push that dough together, which again is why we leave a little bit of a rim around the edge where there's no filling, because it allows us to pinch those 2 together without sort of getting all the filling in the way. So that's our first one done. I'm going to go opposites. So let's just 1, 2, 4, 6. Here we go. Had to think about that, make sure I was doing that. So gently lift it and support, but not lift it. 1, 2, 3. Twisting in, remember. And then on this one, 1, 2, 3. And pinch them together. Remember, this is going to puff up. It's puff pastry, so it's going to puff up when it's in the oven. So I'm going to go, there's my notes all the way over there. So 2 there, 2, here's another 2. I've got the big chunky one that I did unintentionally. I'm just going to... Oh, that one hasn't cut so well there, but that's fine. That's why we help it and support it. 1, 2, 3. Hi, John. Oh, don't be sorry you're late. Be sorry you're late in a couple of weeks. And we're going to do another then. Lovely to have you. We missed you last week. 1, 2, 3, twist and pull those together. Let's spin it round a bit more. And then we're going to go with this side. So I'm just going to... The store-bought puff pastry can be a little sticky. So you might find that you're having to be... It feels a bit tacky. That's fine. Don't panic. It's fine. You can handle it quite well. Just be gentle with it. So lift, twist, 1, 2, 3, and in. And then this one. 1, 2, 3, and in. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. So I've got my my 12, 6, 3, and 9. So I'm now going to fill in the last gaps here as well. So remember, let's just give it a squidge there. Lift up, gently support it, twist in, 1, 2, 3, and down. And then the same on the other side. Now I'm lifting with my hand rather than the knife or a palette knife because that could get in and tear the pastry. So yeah, so here we go. Twist in on itself. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Gently lift. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Now this is great. If you do this as a savoury version, you could do this with your tomato, your mozzarella, or what have you, brie cranberry, or you could just do maybe a garlic butter inside, and then bake a camembert and put that in the middle, so you can dip your pull into the cheese in the center. Oh, now that sounds good. That sounds good to me. We've got 2 more of our snowflakes to do. 1, 2, 3. Lift. 1, 2, 3. Pinch that in. And then 2 more. That's not quite out. So I've got a classic mincemeat Christmas filling in here. 1, 2, 3. So it's got lots of lovely fruit, and I can smell all the spices in there as well. 1, 2, 3. So trust me. Let's remove our dish now. Come on. Trust me. It's a snowflake. It's a snowflake. This now is going to go in the oven, but we need to egg wash it first. So I'm going to put the oven on. We're going to bake this quite high, not too high, but we're going to bake it at 200 degrees C, which is about 400 Fahrenheit. 200 degrees C, 400 Fahrenheit. And the reason we're baking puff pastry on a higher temperature than we bake a cake or anything is we want all that richness and that butteriness and that puffiness in our pastry. And what happens when you put it at the higher temperature, the moisture that the moisture that's in here is going to steam quicker. And it's going to cause those laminated layers within the puff pastry to puff up, and we'll get that lovely flakiness. If we bake it low and slow, you're not going to get that, and it's going to feel quite heavy, and it's going to feel quite doughy, and it's not a pleasant thing to eat. It still tastes good, but you're not going to get that light, airy puff pastriness that we're looking for. So that's ready to go in a second, but we need to egg wash it first. So your oven, 200, I'm so used to saying 180, but let's just get it going. hot air, 200 degrees C, 400 Fahrenheit. I'm preheating that. I'm going to let it come up to temperature. If I put that straight in and think, oh, it's going to do its job, it's just, again, it's not going to cook because you're not going to get that steam coming up to give that nice, lovely puff lamination. So the next thing we need to do, I'm going to get rid of my notes now. I always have notes for you guys, just, as we do. We want to egg wash this. Now, you could use a milk wash if you didn't want to use egg, but we're going to use an egg wash. And then we're also going to give it a sprinkling of caster sugar. So I'm just going to crack our egg in here. Just going to actually give my hands a rinse from the pastry. Give it a little whisk, whether it's with a fork or a little whisk thing. Just whisk your egg up to break the yolk and the white together and get it into wash. You can add a little bit of milk to this now, or you could add a little bit of water, but we don't want to. We're just going to use pure egg. Use a pastry brush. Now, with pastry brushes, I always now recommend a silicone one. You might see in some of the pictures that I use when I post them, I might use a brush that looks like a paintbrush with bristles, and that's just for aesthetics. I don't use those for baking because I find the bristles just get in stuff and not very nice. A silicone pastry brush is perfect. It's easier to wash up as well. So with your pastry brush, just make sure you get a real good cover. Oh, my tummy's rumbling. It's because I can smell this. It's so good. Just make sure you get in all those nooks and crannies. Give it a wash there, a nice egg wash. And I said, like at the beginning, you can do this with gluten-free pastry. You can buy gluten-free puff pastry now, and it's, my family attests to it being absolutely lovely. And there are recipes. If you are gluten-free, there's a fabulous lady called the Loopy Whisk who is probably one of the best gluten-free bakers out there. And with her, she's got a chemistry background, so she has a lot of knowledge around the science of the baking, which is fantastic. Her book is amazing. But I think she does have a recipe for gluten-free puff pastry if you want to have a go at making your own. Don't use a short crust or a block pastry for this, because it's just not going to work. You're not going to get that nice puffiness. So I think just go around, do all the tips, because they're the bits that all the crunchy bits at the end. So that's our egg wash. That's our start. Now we're going to just give it a sprinkling of caster sugar. Now I did just think, actually, I've got the cinnamon sugar in there, but I'm going to stick with vanilla. This is my vanilla sugar, or you can use a regular white caster sugar. It's entirely up to you. I'm not dumping this on. I'm just literally, she says, as she dumps the first sprinkle, I want it to do a little bit of a crunch. There we go. And that's it. That is our puff pastry snowflake. Ready to go in the oven. Rachel says it looks amazing. Thank you. It is really, really easy. We'll talk again back through the ingredients in a moment. That is just coming up to temperature, so we'll pop it in. Now, I did think I might have time, but actually we haven't had time. I haven't got time this evening because I've talked a lot, to do something else with the puff pastry. Now, I rolled this out. No, I didn't roll this out. My puff pastry was already rolled out and cut into circles. Like I say, a lot like the just roll that you get at, I put it back in the fridge. No, I haven't. It's here. It needs to go back in the fridge, so we'll do that. But the Just Roll puff pastry comes in a rectangle. So you're going to get offcuts. Let's put that back in the fridge. You're going to get offcuts from when you cut out the dinner plate size. Now you could use, you can just offcut those and sandwich some more filling between them. Maybe use a nice star cutter, and you could have a star in the center. You could cut different shapes out. You could cut a snowflake out or whatever. You could cut some letters. But if you've got offcuts, you can do some decoration. You can also, with the pre-rolled puff pastry, pull all those offcuts into a ball and then roll them out between two pieces of parchment paper. So you get another layer. You could make this a triple layer if you wanted to. My only thing with that is then you end up with quite a lot of filling, and when you're twisting it, it gets too chunky and falls out. But the other thing you can do, and I've seen fabulous people do it, it's popping up all over, is make little Christmas trees. So if you've got straight bits of your rectangle, lie them on top of each other with a filling and cut them into strips and just fold them so you make little Christmas trees, and you can pop them onto a lolly stick or a skewer or something like that and bake them along the same time. They look really good. I'll share with you one lovely lady who's the little blogger vegan. She's just done them. They look fantastic, and she's done Biscoff. But you can do that. So there's lots of different things you can do with your leftovers. There. That's almost up to temperature. We're going to pop it in. This is going to bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. Don't underbake it, because it'll come out, it'll be doughy and it'll be raw and it's not nice. You want that lovely, rich flakiness that has to have time to do its baking. So the high temperature, 200 degrees C, 400 Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 minutes. Come on, Mr. Oven. You're normally very quick at heating up, but not this evening. I'm going to see, have I got anyone? Oh, we've had people joining on the on Instagram. That's been lovely to see you guys. And as always, you guys on Facebook and YouTube, it's been great as well. I'm trialing this out just whilst the oven gets up to temperature, or I'll just waffle for a few minutes, trialing it out. The guys on Instagram don't get all the bits and pieces that you guys on Facebook and YouTube get with the recipe and the ingredients and everything coming up. They just get a narrow version of me. And so if it works, we might do it, we might not, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not deserting you guys on Facebook and YouTube, because I love you. You're all great. I love you over there. Right. That is actually ready to go. It does come at temperature quick. So we've got the baking parchment that the pastry was on. It's on our baking sheet. We've done our glaze, sprinkled with our sugar. We've preheated to 200 degrees C, 400 Fahrenheit. And in it goes for cook time. I'm going to start this at 25 minutes. And that's going to do its thing. Yay! And I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out the oven. And that's it. That is so easy. This we'll pop back through the recipe and the ingredients as always, but it is really, really easy. A bit like the mousse last week. I've laboured it talking to you guys. Let's just pop back for the recipe for those of you that have just joined in. And if you're on Instagram, I'm sorry. I'll talk through it. This is a puff pastry snowflake. I have done a puff pastry Christmas tree before. That is already on the blog. Very similar principles. Instead of making the arms of the snowflake, we make the branches of the Christmas tree and we twist them that way. So you can try different things out. It's going to serve about 6 to 8 people. It depends how much you want to tear and share. You might not want to do any tearing and sharing at all. But it is a really quick and easy, you can whack it together in a few minutes and get it in the oven. dessert. So it's really sort of effortless. If you've got people that just turn up for Christmas, gosh, I need to do something, you can put it in. If you've got puff pastry in the fridge or the freezer, and even if you've just got some jam, you can just go with strawberry jam. You can pull this together really, really quickly without too much hassle. The beauty with things now is there's a lot of pastries on offer in the supermarkets for Christmas, and most of them can be frozen. So grab yourself some pre-rolled puff pastry, make sure you can freeze it, pop it in the freezer. Most of them as well will keep up to 4 weeks in the fridge, and we haven't got that long until Christmas, so you might be all right there. My only con of this is it is overindulgent. You can keep going in for a bit more, for a bit more, for a bit more. I'm seeing subtitles. Are you adding them? Oh no, I don't know how you're seeing subtitles, John. It looks really yummy. I tell you what, I'll make it for you when you come down to see us soon. I'm not adding the subtitles, so maybe that's the old Facebook doing that. I will investigate. Yes. So, it's indulgent. I keep going in for another bit and another share and another tear. Ingredient, I think I found it. Not to worry. Okay. Ingredients wise, then, we have used 2 sheets of puff pastry. You could make this smaller if you only want to buy 1 piece of pastry, but you probably need 2 boxes of the puff pastry, or the Picard, the one that I used, comes with 2 rolls in there. Just 1 egg to wash over. If you don't want to use egg, you can use milk, a scattering of sugar, caster sugar, regular sugar, some nice brown demerara sugar, give you a nice crunch as well there, and it's Christmassy. When this comes out, I will give it a dusting with icing sugar, make it look more like a snowflake. Filling wise, I have gone with a classic mincemeat. You can do whatever you want. I used a store-bought one rather than my homemade one, because my homemade one is quite chunky. And as you saw, as we twisted it, if I'd got big chunks of apple in there, it just wasn't going to work very well. So I've used a classic store-bought mincemeat, Marks and Spencer's. I've used about 3/4 of a jar. So you might use less. That's 510 grams. So if we say about 400 grams of mincemeat, give or take, that should be all right. You can get it really cheap in the supermarkets, I think. And some really good stuff, like the Aldi Best Buy is great. It's full of brandy as well. It's quite potent. But you can get this for under £1. You could also use, like I say, Nutella, chocolate spread, Biscoff spread, which we didn't use, but you could use that, or you could just go with a jam, a raspberry jam, a strawberry jam, or anything like that. Equipment wise, you just need your baking sheets and some baking parchment, whether that's the parchment that comes with the pastry or you've got your own. You do that, and you just need something then to make some nice sharp cuts. Use a really good sharp knife or a pizza cutter to do that, and a little something to put in the center for your dish, so you don't go all the way. And I say you could use the cap off your mincemeat or your spread or something like that. It's about the right size. And a pastry brush then to brush over your glaze, and that's it. That's all you need. Yay! This is really, really easy, and I'm really glad you guys are going to try it. I really, Rachel, I bet it's a good one to make. I give it a try. So I want to say thank you to everybody that's joined as usual. You will find everything on the website. The Puff Pastry Christmas tree is already there. I will share that one out. I am wading through posts and photos and everything at the moment. But if you do want something and I've not got the post up there, you can always come back to the kitchen live and rewatch it and scan through to what you need, or drop me a message wherever that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, email, on the blog, and then I'll give you whatever you need as quickly as possible. I am working on it. Next week, then, where is that card? Go on. Next week, we had such a good vote on Facebook and YouTube for the pastry, the Puff Pastry Snowflake and the orange chocolate Swiss roll. I think we're going to go with the orange chocolate orange Swiss roll next week because so many of you wanted it, and it is Christmas. And it is going to be the beginning of December. We're going to be really in a Christmas vibe next week. So we're going to do that. Rachel says, oh, yes, I know you wanted to do this as well. It's super, super easy and it just tastes amazing. So stock up on your terries and now because you're going to need them next week. In the meantime, as always, thank you very much out there in internet land for joining me for another Wednesday in my kitchen. I hope you are all very safe and very well, and you don't have a stuffy ear like I do whatsoever. But if you've enjoyed it, let me know. If you bake it and try it out, let me know. I am trying to get Bake Challenge back going, just lots of other things, trying to do all of this as well and give you new recipes for that. But thank you so much for watching. Take care of each other. Look after yourself. Have fun. Keep warm and cozy. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.